Doesn't happen this extreme often, but LV definitely has a problem. He's going to get the help he needs. Whoever says they are there for me will be supportive of me no matter what I choose to do. My point in sharing this wasn't to attack him. It was for him to see what he does is wrong and to take accountability and to make a real change. But here's the... I know we say like you have to make the choice to leave, but I feel like people are sometimes stupid. I think sometimes you gotta... I don't know. Like if this was my person, like if this was like she was my sister, mother, whatever, daughter, whatever, I don't give a fuck what her wishes are. I'm going to proceed with a solution.
You cannot proceed with a solution if the person in the situation does not want said solution. I mean, it sounds good. I mean,
yeah, like if you make it to where there's nothing left for her to be with, it don't matter how she feels. You know what I'm saying?
You mean like...
Yeah.
I mean, if you if you just make it to where this nigga don't exist no more, then she ain't gonna have nobody to go bed. That's what I'm getting at.
If somebody is beating the shit out of your daughter and you can't get her to buy in, I think a lot of people go like, I'm okay with being in jail. I'm just going to kill this person. And then
it's a red flag.
I do wonder if he's going to end up doing t-shirts though. That assassination shit. Like, you know, how we had the airbrush, Obama shirts back in 2008. I feel like I could definitely see Trump dropping airbrushed, fist in the air, assassination shirt.
They tried to get rid of me. They tried to take me out.
That's pretty good, Josh. You've been practicing that.
That was really good. That was really good. Mr. Trump, what else did they do? How did they miss? How did you survive the attempt?
Well, they call me Young 50 Cent. See, like it's not there.
No, man. If Trump next comes out with like a G unit like bulletproof vest at his next speech, that'd be crazy.
If he does that, I might vote for him. I have to, what? G unit fucking tank.
Oh shit!
Oh nah, this nigga tapped in for real. Goddamn.
Oh shit! That's the GOATus. Oh shit!
The GOATus.
But no, in all seriousness, guys, we did actually break down this topic quite seriously in a previous live that'll be linked here. We're not voting for Trump. Just just having some shits and gigs, some funny fun times. Being the boys. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I see the picture. It's like,
you see what I'm talking about? Is it
this
low?
Is a fucking album cover.
That's a fucking album cover. Parental advisory warning, man.
This don't look like the video I seen, but okay, yeah. Anyway.
Okay. You saw a Drewski skit reenacting this shit. Did you see the real one?
Saw a deep fake, man. Saw a deep fake.
I tell you.
Saw a deep fake.
It's all AI. The whole thing was AI.
It's look, honestly, because the government must have better AI than what we get access to. And the shit that we have access to, I saw one where they had Young Thug's mugshot and it had him moving. Like they just took the picture and turned it into moving shit, and he had like Medusa, like his hair had turned into Medusa snakes or whatever. And I was like, "Fuck, this goes hard." Like this plus the King Slime like fucking video audio clip is gonna be a banger when his album comes out.
Oh yeah, the King Slime shit is gonna be the greatest shit ever fucking grace mixtapes. Like that shit's gonna go fucking hard as fuck.
And so I feel like the government must got industrial strength AI. To where they can make any video. So
I was like, well, I'll never tell.
Yeah, he's not gonna let us know about what technology they got in Area 51. He like, y'all don't even know about Area 53. Shit, y'all still talking about Area 51. That's 2 generations behind. We on new shit.
We wrapped that shit up back in the 1950s.
But I will introduce the podcast. So welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the number one. No, I can't say nothing with the assassination shit in it. That'll get us. That'll get the whole podcast flagged and taken down. But it's the number one. It's the number one King Slime podcast in the universe. You know what I'm saying? We are the podcast that's at the back of the room calling the shots. That's us.
And now it's a fucking Rico. God damn it! Now they bringing us in.
You've been in it. You're the head of this shit. Everybody knows that secretly. You calling the shots, Giancarlo.
Mm-hmm. Why you think he ain't? He's the one that's always most absent. Somebody got to get active in these streets.
Doing big business. Cutting the weight. Checking the product.
You know what I'm saying? Getting in bed to free the proletariat.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Josh just saying words. Like, what the fuck was that? That's like a Pusha T bar.
Sometimes you got to get in bed to get the people sorted. Alton out here slinging dick to save the people.
Fucking get in bed to save the proletariat is basically just selling coke.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to take from that, you know what I'm saying?
Benny the Butcher over
that shit kind of go. That shit kind of go hard though, honestly, because it kind of implies that Alton is like fucking women like strategically in order to like save us somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like he's out here dicking down Kamala Harris to like make sure that they win the presidency or something. I don't know.
Y'all think Kamala Harris got some fires? I'm just saying, got some bomb down there.
No.
Yeah.
Not if I had to guess. She seems arrhythmic.
Very, yeah. A little rigid.
Right? A bit rigid, a bit piston like. Yeah. A bit of up and down, a bit of squeaky chair, I would say.
Yeah, because I mean, pause. Like one reason why I like Obama was because I could tell my nigga was packing down there. I could tell he was breaking Michelle back in, you know what I mean? And Michelle was throwing that thing back. That's one reason why I was like, I got a good feeling about you, but Kamala Harris, I don't know.
Hopping in bed to save the proletariat. I feel you.
Tell you. Yeah. Politics of justice.
Which is basically a euphemism for drugs, you know?
Yeah.
Damn. Obama was carrying that weight. I see what you mean. Mean. Heavy.
Full circle. Times a flat circle.
Damn. See, this is where you introduce the podcast. Welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the #1 presidential meat podcast in the universe. It's your boy Eddie. It's Josh. It's Alton or Alvin.
So
whatever.
Nice.
Alias or Rory.
This nigga had to introduce it twice, motherfucker. Like, goddamn.
I'll introduce it again.
Yeah, let's just go another 20. Let's go another 20 minutes, and then you just introduce the shit again.
Just keep introducing it. The #1 introduction podcast in the universe. Y'all see the Gladiator 2 trailer?
Yes. I seen, yeah. I saw a lot of Denzel. Are they hating on Denzel, man? What's going on with Denzel, man? I ain't even know.
The comments are crazy.
They're hating on Denzel. They're hating on the music. They're hating on a lot of stuff that feels like it's got big ism energy.
It's very race warrior, but I'm like, God damn, it's the whole comment section. Like on the main one, it's all like, I saw one comment that said, what the fuck did this shit say? It said, I'm glad to see all these comments like trashing this movie. And I just want to thank the YT community, like, which I suppose is meant to mean YouTube community. But that shit seemed like it was like.
No, it means white.
No, that's the.
Thank you to the white community.
Yeah.
Did a white person say that?
You know, they didn't have no profile picture.
I don't know, because you know, like we say YT for white, but you know, maybe they.
But we also say YT for YouTube.
True.
So
yeah, but I'm saying like
that's pretty bold if he said thank you to the white community just outright. But I mean, then again, people are bold, so fuck who knows.
Double entendre. Don't even ask me how, man. You know.
True that.
Yeah. Why is it? Because it's very like. Hans Zimmer is like, because people are like, oh, why did Hans Zimmer do it? Da, da, da. I can't believe they use rap. It's like, it's not diegetic. It's not like they have a rapper in the streets of fucking Rome, like on top of like a piece of marble doing the rap. It's a soundtrack.
Also, as I've had the conversation with people before, is that if you at least watch Gladiator 1 and you can make the assumption that Gladiator 2 has some of the same themes and you listen to No Church in the Wild, it is a very applicable song. It is exactly. It's literally
very specific to this situation. Like it's about power, it's about structures, it's about mobs, it's about kings. Like the song "No Church in the Wild" is like a regal song about governments and statesmanship and all that type of shit. Like which is why they chose the thing. Obviously,
it fits very well to the themes. Again, assuming Gladiator 2 follows some of the same things as Gladiator 1. It's very fucking applicable. So I have no idea why people are hating on it, other than racism. But I will also say that there was lots of shit to hate on in the trailer outside of that.
Okay,
like let's
get into that in a second. Because the only thing I was going to also say is I thought it was weird because I watched the first trailer, like going back to this. Obviously, all the comments were like, "Is anybody here for a palate cleanser?" But I thought, okay, maybe they're on some racism shit because they're like I can't believe they put a black character as central, that they had black people in Roman times. And I'm thinking that they were black people in the Roman Empire. It was very large. They had Africans who had either traveled there or who had been enslaved into that empire and who got freedom the same way everybody else did. But I look back at the first one, Jamon Hansu was in the shit. Yeah. But then I look back at the first one, it's niggas in that one too. Yes. I thought, like, I was like, oh, maybe they just didn't have that one in the first one. But it's literally black people all in the first movie too. So why are they all now like, oh my God, I can't believe you put, they doing all kind of we was gladiators, making fun like, oh yeah, y'all didn't know they had the Roman Empire had some of the best rappers. Denzel's not rapping. He's not doing anything. He's not doing any of that. He just is in the movie.
Y'all don't. I mean, look, I think we've severely underestimated the powerlessness feeling that a lot of white guys might have. Because we took their Roman Empire. I had no idea until 6 months ago that these motherfuckers just sit around thinking about the Roman Empire, for days on end.
That's true. Because I was not understanding those jokes at all.
As the figure point of their Roman Empire, oh come on, baby, we didn't earn this wrath, their ire, their hate.
Yeah, we can't have fucking anything.
Right. Oh, here we go again, Jay-Z and Kanye. Oh, great. I thought those niggas in Paris. Now it's niggas in Rome.
They're everywhere. They're fucking taking over. It's replacement theory, I tell you. Look, I want to have Tom Hanks as fucking T'Challa in the next Black Panther movie. How about that? How would you guys like it?
That shit might slap. We
honestly though,
rocking with us.
Yeah, life is like a box of vibranium. That shit would go off, man. I watch it. Shit. T'Challa doing all type of side adventures, Forrest Gump shit.
Running goddamn.
Eat Bombay. That's
pretty good.
Oh,
you dug deep into your acting chops for that shit. Right?
You really did.
Yeah, that was layers though. I was doing somebody doing somebody else doing something.
I know that shit was. You the dude playing another dude. Fucking Eddie Downey Jr. over here and shit. Fucking.
Thank you. What do you mean?
A sous chef in San Antonio, motherfucker over here.
Hey man, I went to the Meisner school. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be big in this business. This just the start. Okay, but you think the movie was trash, Alvin?
I'm not saying the movie was trash. I'm just
the trailer rather.
Yeah, man, I was getting mad. Like I was watching it and I was like, this looks boring as fuck. And also, I'm just gonna address one of the non-racist elements in the room. What the fuck was Denzel doing? Like he does zero. So
I don't give a fuck, man.
I'm gonna rephrase it.
What Denzel does.
I'm gonna rephrase it because everybody who's trying to like have the conversation about the movie from a cinematic perspective is saying that Denzel does zero accent work. But if you look at Gladiator 1, nobody did accent work.
No one did. Everybody was just they didn't talking. Sound like goddamn Mario and Luigi. Yeah. It's the Roman Empire. What are we talking about? It's in Italy.
Everybody was just talking in their native fucking tongue, which was crazy when you really think about it.
All mixed up shit. They had Australians and British motherfuckers, African.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was like two.
So what if he sounds like Italians. A fucking cop from goddamn Baltimore or whatever?
But that shit was throwing me off. How this nigga was sounding like pure Mount Vernon Denzel Washington in the Roman Empire.
Meus negus.
This nigga was making it happen on gravitas and like name recognition because this nigga wasn't acting at all. This nigga just went there and just said the lines like real talk. Didn't try no shit different.
Okay. So,
but nobody else did, so I can't fault him. Nobody else did.
What is he? Is he? Because to me, I was like, this is Denzel. If he was a freed slave, become statesman in the Roman Empire, and it worked for me. When he was like, "You will be my instrument," I was like, "I'm there. I believe it." But you're saying it was he felt like he phoned it in?
Yeah, because I believed he phoned that shit in. Now, again, I could change my opinion completely once I actually see the movie, and I also want to point out that. As much as I like the first Gladiator, it's one of those movies that the film bro culture thinks was overrated in hindsight. It's like Forrest Gump, right? Like Forrest Gump was universally like heralded as one of the best movies ever when it came out, and then like 15 years later, everybody was like, "Yeah, it's actually trash." So people aren't quite there with Gladiator, but the consensus is that it was overhyped and it shouldn't have won. And like, it's the whole controversy about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon really should have won that year, which I actually agree with, even though I love Gladiator. So the original Gladiator, it was fun. You know what I'm saying? It had beautiful set pieces. Like for the day, they built that Coliseum. Like that's like, so it was
that's
good
crazy.
practical effects. Yeah, like it was like practical effects.
You think that was a real rhino in the Gladiator 2 trailer?
No.
Yeah, it probably would have been dangerous, I guess.
Yeah, that was all AI.
I'm into it. I'm gonna go see that shit twice. I mean, assuming that it's not bad the first time.
I'm definitely gonna see it. And then like again, Denzel is still Denzel. Even Denzel folding it in is still better than like 90% of actors ever. I love 100%. Pedro Pascal. Like like it can't be horrible, so I'm still gonna see it. But I was watching the trailer and I was like, this nigga phone this in, man.
This looks mid. Only thing is, I'm scared it's gonna do bad because I forgot racism existed for a second. When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh shit, it's Gladiator 2. They got Denzel in. He got his little ring and his goddamn finger rings and shit in his little robe and shit. And all the black women are like, oh my God, Denzel's fine again. Like all that kind of shit. I was like, oh, this is about to be a cultural moment. And then, reality set in and like half the country like hates it. I was like, oh shit, okay, I guess. Like, because even if all of us go see it, it still might probably fail according to what they needed it to be. So people are gonna,
it probably got to make like 500 million post marketing,
so, right?
Like I guarantee you they'll break even.
You think so?
At least, yeah. I think they'll break. If it's a good movie, I think they'll definitely at least break even.
Yeah, they'll break even. They'll break even because I'm trying to think. Or have there been other movies that were because they like Captain Marvel had a similar that people didn't fuck with it for sexism reasons, or arguably Brie being a bit of an asshole, but largely her. I think that was mostly sexism shit. Same with the Marvels, and some of those movies. Yeah, Captain Marvel actually did very well from what I.
Captain Marvel did good, and like I know
that's to your point.
And like the Raiders did like a really good treatment of like why it did well despite that. It was very good.
Yeah, I remember seeing them talk about it. What did they say?
So effectively, they were saying that it was branded as one. It was just in the height of like between Infinity War and Endgame, so everybody just wanted to see everything Marvel anyway. But they also branded it as something that you kind of had to see because it led into
essential watching.
Yeah. So regardless of true. Yeah. So regardless of the sexism angle, people were going to see it because they felt like it continued the narrative.
They had to.
Yeah. So the Marvels failed
because post Endgame, everything was
new. So like the sexism is what prevailed.
They weren't invested. Yeah, because they dropped Captain Marvel basically into the middle of a story that all of the people who maybe were sexist were already invested in. So they were like, fuck. Because I know a lot of people begrudgingly went to see it. Or people were like, I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to download that shit and watch it though. So like, I think a lot of that happened. Oh, actually, okay. Between these two, which one are we more interested in? I added this one. Why are some women so opposed to making the first move? First one. Second one, Bhad Bhabie's domestic violence situation.
The first one, because I really didn't look at Bhad Bhabie's domestic violence situation like that. I just saw she had a tweet, something on her story that was like, "I love my man, I ain't letting him go."
That was the aftermath of like a video getting released by her of him beating the fuck out of her, like for like not like a scuffle type shit, like not even like the Ray Rice or like the Jonathan, like not like he like knocking her down, keeping her down, like more like that footballer kind of situation. And like her hospital pictures, her face like like fully fucked up. And then she dropped that video, which was, or that post of like, I'm not gonna leave him, da 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 da. It's not usually that bad, and everything that she said in there, which that just brought to me like that's literally what she says in this. Let me see in this tweet.
It's usually not that bad.
Yeah, she says, okay, I love. Let me. Here, I'll share this fucking thing. So she says, I love that man more than I love myself. And it's honestly really sad. But unfortunately, that this is real life. And I know the easy way out is to leave. And that is better said than done. This doesn't happen this extreme often. But LV definitely has a problem. He's going to get the help he needs. Right now, there's no room for mistakes. And he knows that. Whoever says they are there for me will be supportive of me no matter what I choose to do. Y'all know I give a motherfucker hell. But there's no excuse for that at all whatsoever. My point in sharing this wasn't to attack him. It was for him to see what he does is wrong and to take accountability and to make a real change. So, yeah.
Dang.
But but here's the
Jeez. I don't understand that shit, man. How the fuck you be like beating on women?
The thing that always brings to my mind is like, and this is a thing that we talked about with Pam. Shout out cousin Pam, you know what I'm saying? Check cop the episode. Brilliant therapist. Is at what point do you like where's the responsibility to the person who is being abused? Because my view is I kind of think like I know we say like you have to make the choice to leave, but I feel like people are sometimes stupid. I think sometimes you gotta I don't know. Like if this was my person, like if this was like she was my sister, mother, whatever, daughter, whatever. My view is, assuming I have the capacity to do so, I don't give a fuck what her wishes are. You know what I mean? I'm going to proceed with a solution. Is that to me seems like the correct thing to do?
I mean, but you cannot proceed with the solution if the person in the situation does not want said solution. Like, I mean, it sound good.
I mean,
yeah, like I've seen situations where that was happening, where the solution was a brother or uncle was like, we just gonna beat this motherfucker's ass, and they beat this guy down in front of her, packed her stuff up, moved her out. That lasted like 2 weeks, and it was back to status quo. So you have to get the buy-in from the victim in order to move with solutions. To Josh's point, I've seen people overstep in that situation for the betterment of the abused, and it not worked.
Yeah, but is it the case that it tends not to? I guess is also the question.
That I don't know,
because you're always making a gamble. Like, yeah, sure, there's an example if she went back, but is that always what happens? Or is that oftentimes what happens? Because I don't know if that's true. The other thing is, and I guess maybe I'm just talking tough and I'm fucking bullshitting, but I'm like, if you make it to where there's nothing left for her to be with, it don't matter how she feels. You know what I'm saying?
You mean like exit a nigga off? You mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you if you just make it to where this nigga don't exist no more, then she ain't gonna have nobody to go bed. It's all
it's not gonna. It ain't
that's what I'm getting at.
We just erase the chalkboard, baby. I don't know. Right. You know, it ain't no game to play. And obviously that's tough talk because realistically, that's. I mean, but then I don't know if it's tough talk. Like if I'm not saying that I would or anything like that. And maybe I'm talking tough to a point where it's just being ridiculous. But I'm like, if somebody is beating the shit out of your daughter, and you can't get her to buy in, I think a lot of people go like, I'm okay with being in jail. I'm just going to kill this person. And then I'll deal with the consequences. She can go on with the rest of her life. And that's just and I'm not saying that that's the most logical or that's the correct or any of that, but it is what it is. I suppose I'd say.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Cause like jail and prison.
Like if it was yours.
Pretty fucking
true.
It's pretty fucking
100%.
awful.
100%.
You're gonna fuck up
I'm not
your
saying
life.
I would do it.
I mean, like, shit, I don't know. I mean, because being in prison is pretty
also,
much
the
like
key is not to get caught
on
too.
a daily basis anyway.
I think in the moment matters, right? I think like if something's happening in the moment, I think all bets are off. I think if it's not an active situation and then I go and I shoot this person, like they're gonna catch me. I think that's something.
I feel like if anybody could get away with it, it'd be you.
I think no.
You'd be 2 states over when he died.
I think that if I'm in the situation where like I'm having those kinds of thoughts, then I'm probably going to have a more extreme reaction in terms of sequester.
It's gonna fuck up your planning ability.
You know, I'm gonna have a higher bar for a sequester, right? Like I think I may like rather have like a kidnapping charge than I would rather have a murder charge, for example, right?
Sure.
Like,
and that's the other thing that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy and go to jail for life, maybe I could just like, lock somebody in a room. I don't know.
That's
those are
the other things I was thinking about on my list of like, and again, I'm not being fully like, but I'm just thinking if you were in this situation and you're not thinking fully logically or whatever, or you're just like, I need to save the person that I care about. It's like maybe it's not killing this person. It's just chain him to a radiator somewhere. Problem kind of solved, at least in the temporary. Or if you beat him to just beat the fuck out of him.
I also
and then
think
when he heals back up, just beat his ass again.
Like, yeah. I also and that's actually the point that I was going to say. I also think that I also think
they whipping this nigga out on the sidewalk, and we just like, he's out.
I mean, legitimately, like, I think a lot of people
every 2 weeks.
I think a lot of people overestimate how many people have like been in those situations, right? So I think a lot of people have never had their ass beat, right? Like a lot of people, the way they talk, the way they move, like you've never really had your ass beat. So I do think that there is a percentage of abusers that probably can get their ass beat to a point where they're done.
It solves the problem. Like, they're like, you know what, I quit.
They're like, damn, that's what I've been doing.
Getting beat into the hospital is a different, like internal organ damage, a broken rib, like, you know, your eye fucking socket's cracked. Like, most people don't get their ass beat like that. I feel like one time of knowing, hey, look, y'all can stay together. I wish you luck in the marriage because I know I can't get her to leave you. This is what's on the other side of this. Every 2 weeks, if you keep it up, if we get any sign of anything, this is what you experience. So sure, she'll stay with you, but you might want to tread more carefully. I feel like that could work. No,
getting a bi-weekly ass beating.
Yeah, like a paycheck, 1st and 15th.
When he heal up, you beat his ass again.
I don't like something about the tone of being like, oh, well, if she won't leave, then blah, 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 blah. Or she don't want to be saved. It's something about it feels to me very victim blaming.
I mean, but like, it's like you can only do so much for somebody, bro. Like, I get it.
That is true.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But and again, like, because I get it, because God only knows what I would do, like, given a certain situation, if I got the means within, like, I know everybody is capable of doing some wicked shit. So, but it's just still like a thing of how much can you do for somebody else when they don't want to do for themselves, or it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Like, all of that shit. You're going to, like, ruin your own life trying to protect somebody else that is not willing to protect themselves, or, like, take the hand to protect themselves, and going back
Ain't that what love
situation is? Knowing that's what's dangerous. Huh?
Ain't that what love is? Like, what?
Fuck
in
no.
the sense that
that ain't what's love got to do with it, nigga?
Let me.
What the fuck? Ain't that what love is? Get your ass beat day in and day out. Hell no.
No. I'm not saying the most extreme thing. Obviously, I'm not saying that. Let me dial it back from the craziest shit that I've said during this conversation to just the thing that you just said. I feel like sometimes love is caring about a person even when they don't care for themselves properly. Like, you can't be like, if your homeboy is about to jump off a fucking bridge and kill himself, you can't be like, well, shit, nigga, if he don't want to live, I ain't finna goddamn while I'm putting in effort. He don't even want to be here. Like, care is being like, yeah, I got enough love for the both of us, even when you don't love or respect yourself. That's what that is.
Yeah, and everybody has a limit, right? So
yeah, there's a limit to it, which I'll concede that.
Yeah, and I do think that oftentimes with domestic violence situations, I do think a lot of times people's limits are too low. But just during my time, you know, working with accountability courts, you see people that their breaking point in terms of people's, you know, addiction and their criminogenic behavior took like decades, where it was like, I've been helping him and, you know, or her, and they've been stealing from me and they've been taking advantage of us. And like, finally I'm done. And they burn all their bridges. And that takes like decades, like no joke, like 40, 50 years of like bad behavior in some of these situations before people are like, I'm finally done. So I do think that people have their limit. And I think that people oftentimes, for very sexist, you know, misogynistic, patriarchal reasons, oftentimes see domestic violence as a fault of the abused, you know, within themselves, that their bar for that is way too low. So yeah. I'm willing to take a lot of steps in those situations, you know, and again, like, you know, to keep trying, to keep having the conversation, to keep doing this. And again, if something happens in the moment, I think all bets are off.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, the way that you articulated that, of like, I do agree, like, on the surface of like, you kind of can't, like, if two people want to be together, you really can't stop them unless one of them dies. And that is true, or is like locked in a bed. Like, it's very, very difficult to, like, restraining orders, none of that can really stop anything if both people are free to try and interact with one another. So I agree with you can't help them if they don't want to be helped stuff on the surface. But like you said, as I kind of look at some of the comments and some of the tone, there's this undercurrent of like, if this was your person or somebody that you cared about or any other situation that wasn't man, woman, domestic violence, you'd be willing to put so much more effort into caring for a person, even if they don't care for themselves. Like if a person was self-harming, somebody that you love, your son, your father, your brother, your homie, whatever, you would put in a lot of effort, even if they're to blame, they have responsibility to But we're only using that, not always, but we're using this language for this in a very different, specific way, which I think goes to everything that you said. People will spend 50 years helping their crackhead cousin before giving up. So it's like your homegirl's getting her ass beat 2 weeks in and you're like, well, shit, that's what she want to be. Okay. I think it's something else going on there.
Yeah, I definitely do as well. I guess kind of goes back to what Alvin was saying as well. You know, it's a lot of undertones of patriarchy and sexism against women versus the actual abuser. Like if you're like in an abusive relationship, you know, no matter what you identify as, no matter what your gender is, I guess like a lot of people think in terms of that. Like if someone is like, you know, physically abusing you, why would you put up with it? Like why would you take it? And I don't think they like look far beyond that. And I guess it's like for a lot of people, it's hard to even understand in the first fucking place. It's like, because I know for me, like if a motherfucker hit me,
would you
never
though?
see me again.
Would you though? I mean, if you're saying that, cool. That's I take it. Like if you were in a situation, a woman put her hands on you the one time, and it felt like it was out of character. Are you quite certain immediately it's done? You're out of there, or whatever else.
Depends on the context. Like, did I really fuck up? Like, did I really, really, really fuck up? And that's me saying, because if I said no, okay, but check this out though, right? Because my train of thought was like, did I fuck up in that situation? This is like on the context of my situation, right? Now, if I were to say that about a woman in an abusive relationship, that'd be fucked up for me to say, because that would be blaming the victim. But I'm thinking, it's like, because it's like one time, like it's just like one time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to let him cook, but still, you know, express myself.
Like, I get it. Yeah. Come on. But because just to answer the fucking question, because that's a nuance and that's a difficult question to answer. Because like if it depends on the situation, like if she just like slapped me or whatever, like I really, really, really fucked up. It's like, okay, I can take that one. But if it's just if it's a Tuesday and the goddamn grits wasn't exactly how you want it, you just come in and slap the shit out of me, like you done lost your, like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck no. I have
in the real situations,
people for less.
I'm just saying, in the real life situations, it's usually more complicated than that. Like most people are not just on some psychopathic, I want to beat somebody's ass today shit. Every abuser has a reason in their own head. And every person is capable of doing wrong shit as an expression of anger or frustration or powerlessness. It's not some like I don't think there's even categories of like good and evil people that are just easy for us to. It's like people do bad things, and that comes as a result of XYZ different things. So I feel like in your situation, like or that situation that we were describing, that's how you start to rationalize and be like, well, it's not just a Hallmark extreme shit. It's like it's a situation where you could be like, oh well, I did kind of fuck up in this way, and you know what I mean. So
bringing it home, a situation where we've not we've all, but a lot of us, a huge swath of the population, have experienced physical violence, and we all justified it and was like, oh, that's cool. Parental relationships. You know, you get spanked, you know, you get hit, you get popped, and it's like, oh, you know, you grow up and it's like, oh, you're socialized to.
I needed that.
To think that like that was something that was cool in that individual situation versus treating children like sentient beings that can be reasoned with after a certain age, especially. But so I think that it's very common, like using that as a comparison point, that people will often justify certain levels of treatment that are largely considered, when you look at them objectively, bad in their individual context, right? Because again, not to blanket everybody, but you know, it's a huge portion of people that will 100% justify. Yeah, like my mom used to like, beat me for not taking the chicken out the freezer or what the fuck ever. And like, oh, I deserved it. I should have fucking took the chicken out the freezer. And apply that same logic to domestic violence situations, and I think it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Which, and to your thing that you're saying, Jess, because I'm not even shitting on what you were saying. Like the thing that I was mostly just trying to get at was like, I think people are confused or like, oh, how could you possibly stay? But I think most people in a situation would be surprised at how much they would stay through. Like, yes. And I think even if you did super fuck up, like if you cheated on your wife, and I know this is crazy to say, if you cheated on your wife and she slapped the shit out of you, I think that's still wrong. Like, I think a lot of guys would just be like, oh, that's fine. I don't think it is. Like, or if she just cold clocked you, like just punched you in the fucking face after you really, really did some bad shit, I think it would still just be the same amount of wrong, more or less. So, and I think that a lot of men would just be like, okay, cool. So I think it's not that confusing if you really put yourself in the actual situation.
Yeah. Agree.
Ditto. Triple agree.
And with that, I just want to introduce Waving the Red Flag podcast, your number one.
Let's do it.
Domestic violence advocate podcast. Excuse me. That was a wild phrasing. Yeah.
Wait. Just the number we advocate for domestic abusers over here.
That's 100%.
Trying to get them off the hook. Okay, yeah. The number one spoonerism podcast in the universe. It's your it's your boy Alvin Turner.
Yeah.
All right.
Alton Turner.
Alton
Turner. Yeah. Okay.
That's a cold name. Jonathan Majors, Megan Good.
Let's put it on the
Eli. Michael Ealy.
Michael Ealy. Yeah.
Michael Ealy. Yeah.
This motherfucker Mike don't give a fuck about nothing, bro.
Bruh. That nigga had something personal. That was personal.
That's got to be, man. That's crazy as fuck. Honestly,
is the video clip making the full rounds? Is the video clip making the rounds the full video?
You know what? It might not be. It probably isn't.
Because he could have like dapped him up before this.
Because that's my biggest issue with the video is that he did
imaging around the bag for nothing.
Yeah, he didn't fucking acknowledge this nigga at all.
Back to the picture. He looking at her crazy. Come on. She trying to get him to come back over while she's still touching him. Somebody need to put some green lines in this shit. Furious.
I mean, she is leaning towards him, so
Towards John or towards Mike?
Towards Jonathan.
Okay, yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, it could just be taken out of context. You know what I'm saying? Because you can always get a clip. But
the only way that this would have been taken out of context is if Michael dapped him up beforehand.
Which I'm thinking may have happened.
Because that's how you would do.
But see, like the thing,
you're right. The where they were in space didn't make that make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
But he would have been coming from behind.
Yeah.
And then step back and then come forward to, you're right. It's very unlikely. We body language experts on this podcast. Welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the number one body language expertise podcast in the universe. You know what I'm saying? Let them know.
Josh, can you pull your whiteboard out and diagram that for us one time?
I got
you. Like showcase.
I also think Michael Ealy don't have no obligation to Jonathan. Like we always talk about, it's disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. I think that's between y'all two. If I'm hugging your girl like this and she gets lifted up off the ground and giggles and squeals and does all that kind of shit, that ain't on me. I don't go with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your girlfriend. So that's not up to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is disrespectful. And if I'm your friend, if I'm both of y'all's friend, I would never do that. But if I'm her friend and I don't give a fuck about you, whatever, more or less. I probably wouldn't do that, but I think it's more on her to curtail that shit.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation for them now.
I mean, that's kind of. I mean, like, like because you just can't be being too friendly. Because I know you kind of gotta see that, but it's on that nigga too because like he blatantly disrespected the fuck out of you in that situation.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's more on her. Like that's like you know what I'm saying. Like if my wife cheats on me with anybody. That's a me and her thing. Like I'm not saying I can't be mad at him, but it's just weird to me that everybody's mostly acting like Mike is the one tripping. To me, it's like he's the secondary person that's tripping.
He was the one that caused the shit. I mean, like, bro, okay. Think about it like this. I think
she's swaying and
Michael Ealy is taking advantage of a power dynamic, my brother. He's physically more stronger than this woman. Picked her up.
He overpowered her.
Overpowered her. She can't do shit about that. She had a
domestic violence.
What the hell she just gonna start nutting the fuck up? We gotta keep it cool, baby. She was just playing her
she was
part
scared.
She's just a girl. She's just a girl. Okay?
Yeah. What's a girl to do?
What's a girl to do? And then, like, she was still giving, like, the body language, like, oh, my God, like, oh, it's okay. Oh, this is crazy. Here, come on. Get in the picture. She wasn't just ignoring this motherfucker. He was doing way too goddamn much.
So, I agree with Josh in the framework of what Eddie's saying. Like, he walked up to her and picked her up. She didn't whisper in this nigga's ear and say, like, hey, Mike, can you pick me up and sway me around a little bit? Spin me around so I can kick my leg up a little bit. Like that, I'm assuming that wasn't a conversation that was had. So I'm assuming that he just like took that liberty upon himself. I also kind of just don't give a shit. I do think that just baseline like human interaction, he's over there. You know that's fucking Jonathan Majors. It's not like you assumed he was like paparazzi or some shit. Like he's a named figure. If he didn't acknowledge him in some way, I think it's baseline rude. But like I kind of don't give a shit if like. My girl sees a male friend and they're like cool and like they have a hug. Like I kind of don't give a shit.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'm rewatching it and I mean if you saying John shouldn't give a shit, I would disagree. But I think that rewatching it, you're right. He did just pick her up and she didn't even hug him with both hands. Like she would have had to been aggressive to counteract how much he was doing. Like she would have had to been like, you know what I mean? She would have had to done something like that. There was nothing that she could have done more to make the interaction seem more one-sided. So I'll concede that point, Josh. You're right. So I think that if anything, I'm just thinking about if I was in her position and a woman came up to me and hugged me extra like familiar and I'm with my woman, I would be going to touch my woman as quickly as possible after that interaction. Like little shit like that does matter in these situations.
Actually, I think I would do the same, honestly. So if I'm with my girl and one of my close female friends like came to me, we probably would hug. It probably would be like a thing, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, like cool, and then I'm immediately gonna put my arm around my girl's waist or something like that.
Exactly.
That's
what I would do if I was in that situation.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
I'm still going
like it can feel tedious to say it in this situation, but and I think that's fine. But I think it sounds maybe tedious, like I'm micro. It's like no, you do little shit like that to reaffirm your relationship. So as soon as that happens, especially if the girl does, because I've had a woman hug me and like wrap her like be drunk and wrap a leg around the back of my leg, which is crazy disrespectful.
You like that?
I'm with my woman.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's wrong, is what I'm saying, is the key point here. And then the first thing that you try and do is interact with your woman to like go to do like a little claiming behavior. Like, hey, this is my person, da-da-da-da. Hey, how are you? Did you drink? So you don't go overboard, but like, hey, bitch, are you thirsty? Do you need a drink? Like,
it's the dance we all sign up for, right? It's the role that we play to participate in dating in the modern like Western society. Like, that's what that
Alvin.
is.
I'm glad we finally agreeing on some of this shit. Exactly. Yeah. It's little shit. So so I think that she should have done more to just because you can tell that John is uncomfortable and like just a little bit of reassurance of like, hey, yeah, I know Michael Ealy just picked me up, but like, cool, are you good? Like, what's in the bag? What are we rummaging for? You know what I'm saying? Did you get your tickets? Do you need your Altoids? Whatever, just a little something, And she kind of does that, but
I'm pretty sure they had some sort of conversation. I mean, because I
know they talked about that shit. Yeah.
Any idea?
Coretta would never do this. Her and Harry Belafonte only did this shit behind closed doors. I'm just playing. Let me stop.
Yeah. No, but to be fair, Jonathan is probably real quiet these days, if I had to guess. I don't know. He's probably like, hey, look, I don't want to be frustrated or anything, but I'm just saying it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit earlier if, I'm a middle of the pack man and as that kind of a guy, I just think maybe you should. Oh, no, never mind. Fair enough. Okay. I think that's probably how he's moving these days in that conversation.
I mean, I would hope so. A lot with a little less bravado, but Megan Good clearly likes I don't. You know what? Not Megan could clearly like something in him that might be like a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more edgy. So he's still
you
probably
think so?
I was gonna say fixer-uppers. I thought that's what we were going.
Oh yeah, because I don't mean like in an abusive type of way. Like that's not the, but
but like the masculinity, the bravado,
portion of it. Well, yeah, shit. She also might want to fucking a little fixer-upper. I thought their relationship was a goddamn sham at first. It still could.
I'm still not sure it's not. Yeah.
I mean, what's a sham, really? You know what I mean? Like if y'all go together on some arranged shit for long enough, y'all still go together. So
yeah. Oh, can you do?
Because most relationships kind of benefit people a little bit. What's up?
Yeah, nah, never mind. I really just think Michael Ealy don't like that nigga. For what reasons? It could be because of the whole Grace Jabaria, thing. Then like he got
easily
beautiful black queen that I might have wanted or had some dealings with.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
did he just leave his wife or some shit like that? Am I making that up?
Michael Ealy.
Did Mike just leave his wife?
Somebody
that makes a lot of sense. He moved in. Because it did rumors. Seem like some he don't fuck with Jonathan type shit. It definitely did.
I heard he was supposed to play Kane the Conqueror. That's what I heard.
Michael Ealy originally. I could see it.
Again, I'm also fucking around. I'm really just fucking around with that one.
We know, yeah.
Nigga Jonathan Majors
Kane went down 7 shades. Kane the Conqueror's been using lightning cream. That's crazy. Okay. Let's see.
No, allegedly this nigga's still married, according to his Wikipedia.
Interesting. I mean, fair enough. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's fucking everybody in Hollywood. That just is what it is.
I want to know what his wife thought.
Is that your expert opinion? That's actually, hey, Josh. That's actually
what you hugging bitches, huh?
I'm actually finna see if something came up.
No, because if Mike was with his wife, he's disrespecting everybody in that room. That's wild. That's not Christian. All right, one little last one. Yeah. After 4 years of being single, I found love. She got a little chocolate plate with no food on it. Will you be my boyfriend? 3 little grubby hearts, and they together. Look at him. Look at this guy. Look at this guy with the fake plants. Oh man. What's that?
Okay, all right. This picture looks.
This looks a little bit more but he also looks checked the fuck out. Like he's staring into nothing. There's no grip strength here at all. He's posed like somebody told him that's what you do. If I'm being honest. But let's not turn into Sherlock Holmes. Let's not do that. So yeah, there we go.
That's pretty good. Josh, that's gonna be me and you solo podcast. Sherlock Holmes.
Absolutely. Sherlock Holmes. I fuck with it.
Yeah.
No, those are heterosexual man nails. It's crazy he left his key in the fucking picture though.
Especially because it's not a fancy key. Like I think you would only do that if it's like a Ferrari like key fob or some shit.
Oh, you think so?
That's not a regular. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was like, I got my BMW M4 fucking key fob or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but damn, that's crazy. Yeah, because he actually got like a metal piece to the car. Like that bitch ain't even.
Exactly. You see, that is a
2010's ass car.
That is a 09 Nissan Altima key.
That's a Chevy Citation. Goddamn, that's what that is. I feel like I wouldn't leave my like key teeth in the picture because I feel like you can cut. Maybe that's just old, like super fucking old school Southern trauma in my head. I feel like motherfucker can copy your key off a picture. I don't know.
That definitely can.
Find your car and open your shit up. So I don't know. But anyway, the old lady or this woman rather says, I'd sweep the beach with my tongue first before I proper propose to a man. I'm like,
damn.
People say that all the time. Why is it so like, I would
die before I ever express interest in a nigga first.
Yeah.
Or asked him to be my boo.
I get it.
I would rather drag myself asshole first across broken glass. Alvin gets everything.
So, and I think this one makes sense, like anthropologically, right? Anthropologically.
Yep. Okay.
hit us with that archaeology.
Women.
Indiana Jenkins. Let's go.
Women give up a shit ton more to be married, even in 2024. Even in the most egalitarian marriages, right?
Okay.
Because as I often call out, Black people have the most egalitarian marriages, and it's still skewed in a way.
Are we building a point of here's why women do it, or here's why it's okay that women do it?
Don't.
It's okay why women don't. It's okay why women don't.
But sorry, but don't like justification versus explanation. You're doing justification. Okay, all right.
So because women give up so much for like a marriage, I think it makes sense in the current state of what marriage is as an institution for them to never ask a man, right? Like marriage is a losing proposition in 2024 for most women, and yet they still do it based on societal pressures. And if you're going to put yourself in that situation, I think it's fairly reasonable to expect a man to ask you.
What about boyfriend though?
I think that a lot of times, and again, I'm gonna go deep into my bag here. Black women get married much later in life, so a lot of times your boyfriend and girlfriend kind of situation can be like an 8-year like long relationship. It's basically a marriage. I think same rules semi apply.
But and do all the same it doesn't benefit you bits apply?
I would say by and large, yeah. I would say it's less material for boyfriend versus like husband, because I think when you go into boyfriend stuff, it's more along the lines of like emotional labor and that kind of stuff. So that gets a little bit more ambiguous versus like husband and wife. They're hard figures, like life expectancy.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? And like, like all that kind of stuff gets a lot more clear cut for marriage, I think. But I do think that boyfriend girlfriend relationships tend to benefit men way more, even in egalitarian relationships. I just think it's a little bit more.
I'm with you, Josh. I think
less. I think it's less material.
I'm gonna let you go
and more emotional.
I just want to shout out the ladies. I love you all. You're all queens by and large.
That's what I gotta do. PR damage control every.
I have to disagree with that. You're all the shit.
I would like to respectfully, statistically call bullshit.
What do you think men do in relationships? Like just not shit? Like dates?
Mostly, yeah.
Man, I tell you, I don't know what kind of
set
niggas
that
you
up,
been
dog.
around.
I don't know what you thought he was finna say.
Yeah,
I know, right?
And again, Josh, this is what I want to say to you, right? This is what I want to say to you. I think you are a wonderful person. I think you're extremely caring. I think that you're wonderful and caring in a way that you also tend to surround yourself with wonderful, caring men. Like I don't think you have a lot of ain't shit niggas in your circle. I think
I got a couple, but
Yeah, you got two.
Which is why I didn't say zero. I didn't say zero. I said not a lot, right? Most of these niggas are not bringing a ton to the table, man. Like I'm just saying, like most niggas are parasites.
A ton to the table.
I'd say also why bother being in the relationship regardless of if he asks.
I actually think that's a valid. I think that's a valid conversation to have at work.
Yeah, so if you get a is shit nigga, ask him to be your boyfriend / husband. If he's ain't shit, it don't matter who asks.
So I think what you're saying
End
applies.
Of the story.
I think what you're saying applies in individual circumstances. I'm having a global conversation about like why women don't versus why women like shouldn't or that kind of thing. No, so if I'm having a global argument about like why women tend not to, that's what I'm saying. In the situation
why
that
women
you say,
tend
like,
not to, I don't even disagree with you. My issue is I think with all of these conversations is that we cannot talk about healthy relationships at the micro when we're only operating from the macro. If we're only looking like, yes, okay, we're in the patriarchy. Yes, sexism exists. If you intend to partner with a man and a woman, yes, are you all going to have to unpack shit? Are you going to have to deal with shit and go like, hey, here's your misogyny, your misogynoir. Here's how you view me as a man through patriarchal lenses, as a woman, blah, blah, blah. You have to work through all that shit. But if you go in going adversarially, you are a member of my oppressor class. That you can't build a happy relationship from that if that's your primary framework when you're entering into this shit.
So I agree, and that's why I think Josh's point makes sense. Like I don't think every nigga doesn't bring something to the table. That's not how I interpreted the conversation. How I interpreted the conversation was utilizing this as a springboard to discuss like why women don't do this or why women should or shouldn't do this. So if I'm talking about it from a global structural perspective, I'm answering from a global structural perspective. However, I do agree with Josh, and I do agree with Josh that Josh probably does like have a lot of niggas that are like fine, upstanding young gentlemen, because Josh is like that. Josh doesn't, I think like attracts like from that perspective. But all that to be said, yeah, it's a bunch of niggas in here that are in relationships with boyfriend, girlfriend that don't do a lot of shit. So I think from a global structural perspective, yes, like I think that there's something to be unpacked there. But I think you're right. But I think you're right. So I don't want to derail the conversation. I'm just saying that I was answering what I interpret to be a different question.
Okay, no, that is fair.
But I think you're right.
Still, though, I think even disagree with the initial framing. So, but let me try and break it down. What I mean by that is, I think if you say women in general are going to be more skittish about pairing with a man who doesn't put in active effort to pair with them, who doesn't say, "Hey, I want you," especially because it is an expression of like, "Hey, look, I'm showing up," not I'm just saying yes because you asked. So I agree that there's that imbalance, and maybe it kind of on large balances out some of the problems with dating a man. It's like, okay, well, at least he actively sought me, so that gives me an idea that maybe he's going to show up a little bit more. But having that like vitriolic, like magnetic repulsion to the idea of expressing your interest to a man, I don't think is compatible with having a good relationship with a man who is decent. And like him not being shit, or men on average not being shit. It's like, that's as I said before, you should be screening for that and going, well, I don't want to partner with you regardless of if you ask. And if you're a good guy and I like you and we fuck well and we can make this work, would you be my husband? Would you be my boyfriend? Is, I think, a good thing. And I think that to get to what's actually going on here, I think it's back to a conversation that I've had about desirability politics that I think is happening. I'm going to say this lightly because I don't know if this is true, but maybe along racial lines, that I think that Black folks, we get real wrapped up in certain traditionalism as a way of like expressing our need to be powerful, desirable, valid, or whatever, in ways that we feel like we're not getting. So Black men very attached to like these old school ideas of you got to be a submissive woman, you got to do X, Y, and Z, all this bullshit, because it's like that's a way of getting some power. And I feel like it's a lot of women who are, not all, but it's a lot of women who are in a situation where they're like, I need a very specific traditional show of me being desired from my man. Otherwise, I feel like I'm unvalued and underappreciated in a society that generally undervalues and underappreciates me, which I understand, but I don't think works in a healthy relationship.
So one, I want to say that I think the first bit of what you were saying, trying to deconstruct what I was saying, I think that you can express desirability and that have absolutely nothing to do with you saying like, can you be my boyfriend or can you be my husband? I think women do a very good job of expressing that they find you desirable by dealing with a lot of bullshit and dealing with even.
I'm talking about the other desirability, just by the way.
Yeah. And then
I'm not talking about them desiring men. I'm talking about
Yeah. So I think that from that perspective, if I'm doing that, I think that it's still reasonable globally, again, not in micro situations, for them to expect a man to ask that question. I still think that's fine. I don't necessarily think it has to be that, because I'm not a very traditionalist in that particular state. Like, I don't think marriage is a good institution, or the way that we even look at monogamous pair bonding is particularly healthy in the Western state anyway. But I'm just saying, if I'm gonna play the game, I'm gonna play the game. But in regards to what you just said, I think that I see a lot of that on modern social media, and I think that that's something that's very new aged. I think that's very older millennial down, because again, like, the numbers are very much so egalitarian that I don't think that, and again, this is anecdotal, but the numbers are so egalitarian between them. I can't imagine that that's how the relationships would have formed pre that. But what you just said, I think, is interesting, because that's 1,000,000% what I see online. Like, that's like the trope that I see.
Well, yeah, we don't know how common it is, because we're only talking about this woman and the women who say the same thing as her. I'm not talking about
but
everybody else who thinks otherwise.
Yeah, and again, I have no aggregate data, but again, I see that trope pretty widely within my limited sphere and sliver of the internet.
Last word.
So I think there's something to it.
Yeah. Excuse me. Brilliantly stated again.
Me.
And this is kind of going back to like the whole just expressing like interest, proposing to your partner. Will you be my boyfriend? Will you be my husband? Whatever. I don't want no woman proposing like marriage to me. Standing on business on that.
That's
you cool.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, like, because I feel like that's a totally different dynamic. Like, let me know it's safe to propose. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't hit me.
What about can you be my boyfriend? Do you? Do you feel differently about can I be your boyfriend or can you be my boyfriend?
And I was about to get to that, yeah. Because then can I? Will you be my boyfriend? Is like, it's it's like less stakes. Like, you know, if I really like you, because I mean, women do that shit all the time. When they ask, what are we? That's essentially them saying, hey, what are we doing? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's boneless. Will you be my boyfriend? It's kind of pussy.
Yeah, it's boneless. Will you be my boyfriend? And also, Josh just casually dropping that he's that nigga, you know. These women always asking me what are we?
What is it? What are we, Josh? Please, can we?
I need answers.
We need it. Now. I gotta lock this down.
Oh my God! And with that being said, welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the #1 bitch hit
podcast. Yes, go. Did you finish your bit? Otherwise, I'm gonna close it out. That's good. The #1 bitch getters podcast in the universe, the nth dimension. Oh, that's good.
But yeah, but no, I think that is actually that's I could work with that, especially like if I like her too. Like if she asked first, I'd be like, damn, you took the wind out of my sail a little bit, but yeah, for sure, this girl like me. Hell yeah, you damn right. But
that's kind of romantic if you say that. Like, oh, you beat me to the punch. I was just about to ask that too.
And that, I know. And I think Alvin said, maybe it was his last episode when we was talking about relationships, but dating is hard. Like getting into a relationship, finding somebody that you really feel that way about,
it's hard. It's not easy. Finding a person is not easy.
Yeah, I mean, some people just be like serial daters because they just cannot stand to be alone. But I think that's a little bit different. But yeah, like actually finding your person that you really like, they genuinely like you too, y'all mesh, all of that shit is difficult to find. But I'm not mad at old girl. I think it was, you know, I ain't mad at old girl for, will you be my boyfriend? Hey, if that nigga liked it, if it worked,
yeah,
god damn it, shoot. Hey, who gonna argue with results? Because a lot of y'all motherfuckers are single. A lot of us motherfuckers are single.
Blocking blessings. Don't block your blessings. That's my lesson to folks. You know what I'm saying? If you see something, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, with that being said, if you see your girl passing a plate of chocolately lettered "Will you be my boyfriends" across the table, some people would say you would be seeing a red flag. I wouldn't say that though. But at the same time, if you think it was no niggas in Rome, it's you that's waving the red flag. It's been Waving the Red Flag podcast. It's been your boys. It's Eddie. It's Josh. It's Alvin. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think, as always. Join on Patreon if you want access to our Discord server where it really goes down. You know what I'm saying? Grab a deck of our card game. Great for a dinner party. It keeps that convo going crazy. And we'll, of course, see y'all next week for our review of The Boys once its finale comes out with the illustrious Blurred Without Fear. Any closing remarks? Anybody got books to sell? Anybody going on tour? You know what I'm saying? Anybody got a new scent to sell? Damn, I probably got to cut that.
No,
I know, right?
Copyright.
Depending how aggressive they lawyers are. That shit, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, damn.
All right.
Well, fuck that one up.
Peace.
It's a red flag.